Welcome into This is Baseball. I am Brandon Johnson. We got a good show this week. I went to my first Royals game this season and caught some Royals-Reds action. So we'll talk about that and Elly De La Cruz. And we'll talk the red-hot Oakland A's, who are winners of 6 straight, and their fans who are performing a reverse boycott today and selling out the Oakland Coliseum. And then we'll close on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Are they for real, and can they win the NL West? Let's get into it. So, like I said, got out to my first Royals game this season, and to nobody's surprise, the Royals lost in extra innings to the Cincinnati Reds. But it was a good night overall. I was able to take my family to our first Royals game this season, have a good time, and watch the Chiefs be celebrated by the Kansas City Royals because it was Chiefs night. And, they are winning championships right now, and, it's something to celebrate because there's not a lot on the baseball side of things in Kansas City to be happy about. But, again, great night overall. Got to see Zach Greinke pitch and flash some leather and show why he is a multi-gold glove winner. Salvador Perez hit a game-tying home run in the bottom of the ninth. But Royals ultimately came up short once again, and they are now 30 games over 500 and sitting right with the Oakland A's. And I'm watching the game last night, and the Royals got off to a nice start. They scored in the bottom of the first, and got off to an early lead and held it for a while, and pitching ultimately got the best of them, and the Royals ended up losing. But I was happy with the offense a little bit. I think they had an opportunity in the 10th to win the game. They had a man on second and third and just couldn't bring him in and ended up losing. And, just kind of another mark of coming up short. That seems to be the theme this season. But the Cincinnati Reds were in town and still are. And I was able to see their top prospect, Elly De La Cruz, play in person, and actually, the Royals did a good job of handling him. He ended up going 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. So you'll take that as a win for the Royals. So far in the 7 games he's played, though, he's been really fun to watch, hitting 296, 406 on base percentage, 925 OPS. So this is kind of one of the pieces that are going to be put together for this Reds team that has a really bright future ahead of them. You've already seen this year that the Reds have a lot to be excited about. It's probably going to come to fruition here in the next year or two. And I think the NL Central is going to be incredibly fun in the future. And I think the Reds will be a reason for that. Moving out to Oakland, the Athletics are winners of 6 straight. And I don't think I would have seen that happen this season, but here we are. They're the hottest team in baseball. Obviously, they're a team that's not trying to win. The roster that has been put together shows you that. It's a team that is actively trying to leave Oakland and relocate to Las Vegas. And the fans of the Oakland A's have been impacted the most by this. The ownership of the A's want to leave, so they've just kind of created a dumpster fire environment and have given the fans really no reason to show up, and have honestly kind of been a slap in the face to them because it's not really their fault that the stadium situation is what it is. So yeah, the way the A's have operated over the last few years has really made 2020, which is the last time the A's made the playoffs, seem like forever ago. The A's were, for the longest time, a team that a lot of people respected just based on how they built their roster, I don't need to explain to you their Moneyball approach. You've read the book, you've seen the movie, but the A's have forever had a low payroll and consistently have put together competitive baseball teams. And now they have a low payroll and are actively trying to not have a competitive baseball team. And, right now, that team is the hottest team in the league, and they're winners of 6 straight. And tonight, the Oakland Athletic fans are performing what they are calling a reverse boycott. Now, the A's have had the worst attendance in the league by far. It's not even close. And tonight, fans are showing up and filling the stadium, and their plan is to encourage Oakland A's owner, John Fisher, to sell the team. Now, I loved the attempt by the fans. I think that Oakland deserves a baseball team. This doesn't seem like it's going to sway John Fisher to sell the team, considering how he's operated over the last 2 years. Don't see him having a change of heart, but I love it. You have to at least try. With that news, the Nevada State Senate has passed the $380 million bill to help fund the proposed stadium for the A's moving to Vegas. So kind of awkward timing for that with the reverse boycott tonight. It just kind of further solidifies that the Oakland A's are no more. Now, there's still a lot of steps that have to happen with the bill. It has to be voted on, and then I'm sure other things, but it's getting closer to being the Las Vegas Athletics. Oh, wow. Okay, so I just got a notification on my phone where this is weird. We're talking about the Oakland A's. Lawmakers in Oakland have introduced what's being called the Moneyball Act, seeking compensation for cities losing pro baseball teams. This is from The Athletic. It says, quote, "This bill would require the owners of any relocating professional team to compensate the state and local authorities they move away from." Again, this is from The Athletic. This would apply to teams moving more than 25 miles away from their current stadiums. It says, under this legislation, if owners do not provide compensation, MLB would be subject to antitrust laws the league has been exempt from since 1922. The antitrust exemption that MLB has pretty much means that they don't have to deal with any sort of competition for their league. So, again, this just came out, so I don't know a ton about it, but it seems like another attempt at stopping the Oakland Athletics from leaving. So this is the Moneyball Act. I'll probably talk about that more later when I know more, but that just came out today. So big day for the Athletics. Nevada Senate passed the bill for the $380 million to help with the new stadium in Vegas. This is the day for the reverse boycott at the A's game, where fans are going to pack the stadium. And now the Moneyball Act has been brought up. So it's going to be an interesting time here soon for the A's. So we'll stay tuned for that. But yeah, that notification and info came from The Athletic. I want to close. Wow. Okay. I want to close the show. Talk about the Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona Diamondbacks are first place in the NL West. They are 41-25. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 6 straight. And they're 4 games ahead of the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are not playing good baseball right now. Now, I said this earlier in the month that, I kind of like to get to mid to late June to see if a team is for real or not. And I think at this point, Arizona's 16 games above 500. They actually have the best record in the National League today. I mean, I think at this point it's safe to say that Arizona is a team to take seriously because they're playing really good baseball. They have been all season. And, they were a team that, in my opinion, didn't really have expectations or could at least fly under the radar. It was all off season long. It was, who's going to win this division? Is it going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers or San Diego Padres? And that's good for a team like the Diamondbacks because there's not a lot of expectations on you. And when there's, most of the time when there's not expectations for you to do anything, it's less pressure on you and you can just go out there and do your thing, and that's what the Diamondbacks are doing. I love looking at Fangraphs standings because they have a playoff percentage, so the chance that they will make the playoffs, and they have Arizona at 80%, which is actually, I think, higher than it was earlier today. They still have the Dodgers at 90%, so they believe in the Diamondbacks as much as I do. So, but I think that I'm reading this that the general thought is that this is still going to be the Dodgers' division to lose. And I agree with that. I think 4 games isn't insurmountable for the Dodgers to get back to it. All it takes is a good 10-game stretch from the Dodgers and a bad one from the Diamondbacks, and Dodgers are right back in front. I'm continuing to look at Fangraphs playoff percentages, and there are 4 teams, with a 0% playoff probability, and they are the Colorado Rockies, the Washington Nationals, the Oakland A's, and the Kansas City Royals. Seems about right. I think you look at the standings, I think that there's 3 categories you can be in. You're good, you're bad, and then you're just horrendous. And 28 of these teams fall under the you're either good or you're bad. And then 2 of them fall under the horrendous category. And the 2 at the bottom in that category are the Kansas City Royals and Oakland A's. You know how other countries have relegation for teams that are just downright terrible in their leagues? Like if you're one of the bottom teams in the Premier League in soccer, you get relegated to a lesser league. And I almost wonder if that could be adopted here in America. I don't think it ever will be, just because I think there's way too much money involved in sports for any team or league to ever consider doing that. But I think if you did that, it would pretty much eliminate teams trying to tank for high draft picks, because you can't tank and be at the bottom if you risk losing your spot in the highest league in your country. I think it would just give a little bit more incentive for teams to play better. Hey, you're downright terrible, so guess what? You don't get to be in our league anymore. Or you're going to have to earn your way back into our league. But your play isn't going to cut it and you got to work your way back in. I think it's a good system. I think it's a system that will never be adopted in America, but they should think about it. We got off track a little bit there today. Had some breaking news come in during the show, but that's all I have for you today. I'm Brandon, and this is baseball.